In this video, we're going to be replacing the distributor oil seals. This is a common problem on Volkswagen 16-valve engines. Oil can leak from the back of the distributor here, alongside the engine. It can also leak into the distributor itself, and you'll see a small amount of oil within the distributor cap. For the replacement seals, you're going to need a nitrile O-ring measuring 3mm by 37.5mm. You will also need a nitrile oil seal for the main shaft. This measures 12 by 19 by 5mm. In the UK, these can be purchased by places such as simplybearings.co.uk. I'll put a link in the description. First, mark the current position of your distributor. This will save having to retime the engine afterwards. I also like to set the engine to top dead centre. That way, putting it all back together makes it a whole lot easier, so you can check the position of everything. Once the car's in gear, it's easier to move the engine if you remove the spark plugs. The rotor arm should line up with a small notch in the top left of the distributor case. You'll see this when you're facing the engine from the right side, looking directly at the distributor. Disconnect the electrical connector, then remove the two bolts holding the distributor in place. If you look here, you can see where the oil has been leaking from the rear of the distributor. Remove the distributor by rocking it back and forwards. It will eventually work loose. To remove the main shaft, you have to first remove the retaining spring. You will then have access to the pin that holds the distributor drive in position. Before you remove the pin, mark the position of the distributor drive in relation to the main shaft. Remove the retaining pin using a hammer and a punch or a small press. A bench vise is good for this. The main rotor shaft should then be free, and you can carefully remove this. Take care to note the order of all the washers, including the fibre ones. Replace the fibre washers as these become brittle over time. The oil seal is located below this steel washer here. You can remove the old seal using a pick or small screwdriver. This is the old seal here. Press the new seal in place using a suitable socket, then refit the steel washer. Refit the shaft, taking care to replace the washers in the same order that they was removed. Then refit the distributor drive unit, making sure it goes back in the same position using the marks made before removal. Press the locking pin back in and refit the retaining spring. Replace the large oil seal. This is the 37.5mm one. This creates a seal between the distributor and the head of the engine. When refitting, ensure that you line up the 2 pins on the distributor drive with the notches at the end of the cam. You can see the notches here. Finally, you can line up the distributor with the marks that were made earlier. As a final check, make sure that the rotor arm points to the top left side of the distributor. This should line up with the notch we mentioned earlier in the video. Thanks for watching.